as the representative of the state that has the most federal land outside of Alaska, one of the proudest votes I took was for the Great American Outdoors Act, including the establishment of the LRF to address priority deferred maintenance at many of the land management agencies. And my own district is home to Lake Mead, the first national recreation area to be designated as such by Congress in 1964. I'm going to turn some of my questions more to the human aspect of managing deferred maintenance. Before I do that, I just want to ask you, Mr. Greenblatt, is it fair to say that Lake Mead is one of the many NPS sites with infrastructure and resources that date back more than half a century?
I think that's fair.
And is it also fair to say that the proposed federal actions to assets 50 years or older, ranging from demolition to rehabilitation, often require significant expertise, funding, and time to complete, given both the historic and the environmental review processes involved?
I'm not an expert on those specific issues, but I have no reason to disagree with that.
So as essential as it is, the LRF funding alone is not a cure-all for the deferred maintenance issue. The level of expertise and staff resources needed to successfully tackle these issues also requires a commitment from Congress to adequately fund the National Park Service and other federal agencies year to year. And the reason I'm making this point is today's hearing comes at a time when House Republicans are seeking to slash the National Park Service budget by more than $400 million, resulting in what the National Parks Conservation Association estimates would result in the loss of more than 1,000 National Park Service staff members. Mr. Greenblatt and Mr. Johnson, every year the Nonpartisan Partnership for Public Service releases annual rankings of the best places to work in the federal government based on employee responses. Do either of you happen to know how the NPS came out in these rankings?
I don't actually, off the top of my head.
No.
Well, sadly, in the lowest 15th percentile, ranking 371 out of 432 agencies. The partnership's CEO further emphasized that the National Park Service overall score has consistently been low throughout the last decade. And why? Because employees have had to operate with really diminished resources for a very long time. I mean, we talk about even their facilities where they sleep and eat and all the deferred maintenance with that. They feel like their hands are tied behind their back and they don't have the resources they need. So in spite of these challenges, the professionals at the Park Service are actively putting LRF funding into work at Lake Mead, including more than $5 million to ensure continued access to safe drinking water for visitors, and a little over $4 million to demolish abandoned and hazardous structures within the park. If the majority's concern about deferred maintenance in our national parks is genuine, I would urge them here, just as I have on the Appropriations Committee, to join us and join House Democrats in making sure that the National Park Service actually has the resources and the congressional support it needs to succeed and implement these types of programs. And with that, I yield.